Alright, here we go. Game 2 between Punktronica and Eddnamed. Same map, same sides, same mechs, same variants. We are on Simple once again, and this is for Tipsy 3000's February 1v1 Iron Man ladder. Shout out to Tipsy. Now, instead of Longhorn, this time Ed did bring his Dillos. He is guarding this close, like it's precious or something. I don't know why he's doing this. I mean, I guess it was a winning strategy last time, but he is probably gonna go for the same thing with the massing units at the close factory and then pushing out. Punktronica again waiting for the creeps. Ed went straight for the Jackal drop here and is doing the exact same thing, dropping a Hatcher next to the neutral to get the salvage credits. And now Ed doing quick flyby with a little shooting. It's kind of not really productive with Punk hovering over that base, but who knows. Now Eddnamed trying to take out the last Jackal. There are not, still has not claimed that forward power station. But once again doing the, and Punktronica catches him this time. And now Ed does pick up the Patcher in time. Is dogfighting with Punktronica, is not, and get taken out there, and Punktronica is able to clean up this last Patcher, and Ed does not get those salvage credits, or at least not all of them. But Ed queuing up full 5 Dillos there, a full build queue of Dillos, and now this time Punktronica has a better foothold on mid. Then it is in a better situation now. He has a lot of units there, except right now Eddnamed is going for the harass. Did bring the 2 Jackals over there, almost gets that Moneymaker out. He does have Mantis Strike, and he is going for this last Moneymaker. Punktronica is doing a pretty good job. Does not save that last Moneymaker, but does do a secret drop, forcing Ed out of the area. Ed picks up his Jackals, puts them right on the front door, and runs, not completely runs away. He's attacking the Moneymaker that Punktronica protected by picking it up. Punktronica does get this last Moneymaker up, but Ed has killed 2 Moneymakers in total, and now has a pretty good advantage in terms of economy because he has those extra Moneymakers down instead of after killing those 2. Punktronica getting the Seeker down, chase Ed away, but it does not kill Ed. He does get away in time. Ed, that was a really good job by Ed, but to do that early harass there, and did get a lot off without sacrificing too much. Now there are 3 creeps here, but Punktronica again bringing a Seeker, and he does thwart Ed in this that attempt at taking that outpost. But Ed again massing a lot of Armadillo here, and spreading them out really well, especially because Punktronica is also a bomber, and if he lumped his Armadillo up in the same spot, they would all pretty much die really quickly to a bomber melee. Almost getting taken out there by Punktronica, Eddnamed was, but he does get away. But Punktronica now has a lot of units at mid. He only has 1 bulb up. It does go back down to neutral, but this is much more under Punktronica's control than Ed's. Now Ed is finally doing his Dillo push, but Dillos move much faster than Longhorn, so he has to move a lot faster here to try to get them closer together instead of spread apart in a conga line. Now Punktronica has nothing defending this except for Seekers, and so this push is gonna really stir some trouble up there. Now Punktronica does see it. He does bring a Longhorn over. Even though there's only 1 Longhorn, because these Dillos are coming in 1 at a time, and especially with Punktronica's support, he is going to be able to do a lot of good defense here, except these Dillos are just rushing right past. Ed does get taken out by Punktronica and his units there. And once again, this is weirdly the same scenario, but except with Armadillo this time, which will get killed much faster from this bomber and its bombs. Now Ed slashing away at that Seeker, does kill that Seeker and that Longhorn. Now he's slashing at the base, at the power station here, does get 2 bulbs down eventually. His life is pretty low. He is doing a Mantis Strike attack here against Punktronica, but has to walk away there backwards. But now this outpost is green. The middle outpost is green. It's surrounded pretty much by blue units, but actually only 1 of them is a ground attacking unit. Now Ed does go down to Punktronica right there, but has 4, 5, 6 Longhorn Armadillo here. 3 do die very quickly, and Punktronica will take care of this last one. Has to go back to his outpost for energy, and Eddnamed now respawning, has 2 Seekers in queue. And is going way past here with creeps here, just dropping at the forward just to do a little bit of distract, just some short distract. And Punktronica will have to drop and kill those. No, he uses his bombs to kill it. Saves a little bit of time probably, but Ed bringing a single Dillo over here, drops it at the fort, and Punktronica is having to deal with that and kill it. Now Ed attacking the Ratchet from behind, which actually does nothing because it's not one of those double damage taking units. Does not kill that Longhorn. Punktronica is able to pick it up, and Punktronica dropping bombs on Ed right now is not able to get him yet. Ed is so close to dying, and Punktronica is just doing back and forth bombing zips. Oh, and Punktronica gets killed by Ed when Ed lifts off. Oh man, because he was getting hit by those Seekers a lot over there on Ed's from Ed's forward. Actually, he's close, and he just ran out of life a lot faster than Ed, and Ed just lifted off and shot him down. But right now the map is more controlled by Punk. He does have mid, and he does still have control of his forward. So right now Ed is on the defensive. He is trying to keep this outpost here. Punktronica doesn't have any artillery out on the field right now. So this outpost is going to just be under attack by Punktronica's mech himself. He does take this outpost and is doing a lot of defensive runner spam, but there are a lot of green units out here, and will keep this outpost. Will eventually neutralize this outpost, which it does just now. There are no more creeps left here because Punktronica slashed them down, but there are some incoming, and Punktronica has lost control of mid. So he is forced to retreat to his forward to get some energy back. Finally gets back mid using creeps, and right now Ed has no units at his forward. His power station is completely undefended. It will go down to neutral, and Punktronica will get at least 1 infantry in there. 2 creeps are coming in. There's another here on the bridge. There are creeps here for Ed that are coming, but where is Ed going? Ed is just going to attack some units right now, and Punktronica is here with a Seeker. Will probably... oh, does save that Longhorn. Almost gets killed. And right now, Eddnamed is trying his best to get it, but it's just... it's so under... it's very much under Punktronica's control right now, and this back outpost, this close, is not defended as well as it did before when Punktronica was attacking it last game. And now this forward power station on green side is under blue control. Eddnamed dropping it to slash the bulbs down, but Punktronica bombing those creeps coming in, so Ed will not be able to take it. Although he neutralized it. Punktronica taking down 1 Longhorn, or 1 Armadillo. Eddnamed doing some Seeker drops, will not be able to finish off Punk there. That was pretty unfortunate. If he surrounded with the Seekers earlier, there was a much larger possibility that he would have been able to get that. Ed does get this outpost back, but for how long? Punktronica still doesn't have any artillery out on the field. He is just going completely tanks, Seekers, tanks, hats, and ratchets there. He has actually a Seeker out on the field as well. He has 1 hat and 1 Seeker. That is a pretty devastating combination in a lot of cases. This forward outpost is under attack by 1 infantry. It's completely unsurrounded by units still. And Punktronica bringing up infantry, creeps to take this. Ed does drop in time to slash them down. This outpost is just neutral now. There are no bulbs up. And Punktronica... oh, actually, Eddnamed has 2 Berthas out on the field. So all of these units here are being under fire from 2 Berthas. And Eddnamed dropping down here on the low ground to get this attack on this hat. Punktronica is forced to pick it up and back it off. Now, Eddnamed does not have any units here on this side to attack, and Punktronica is bombing him. I think if he walks away fast enough, he can just lift off and get away, because he still has more than half of his HP left. And he does get away, backs into his units. And now Punktronica with a pretty big army here. He will probably eventually use it to push out. And this outpost still under contest. There is only 1 blue bulb up right now. And now Punktronica's starting to... No, I thought he was going to put a unit down there and put that Longhorn, but instead puts it on the front door, and he is going to kill this Armadillo. Ed comes back to respawn. Now Punktronica attacking these Moneymaker right now. He does kill one. Ed saves this one, but for how long will he be able to protect them? He does have a full queue of Seekers right now. So, but Punktronica keeps one. He does take one down. One Seeker goes down for Eddnamed, but this will get killed by Punktronica. You need to put more than one Seeker against the Bomber, especially if you don't have the back facing a wall or an outpost. That way they have the opportunity to attack the back. Punktronica finally goes down with a combination of Eddnamed's melee and that Seeker, and now Eddnamed forced to rebuild his Moneymakers. Punktronica sitting on 40,000 credits, has still plus 60 power right now, but the funny thing is Ed has right now a larger upkeep right now. It's 110 to 80. Punktronica only has 80 upkeep, but his position is so much better than Eddnamed right now. And Punktronica is going for this bottom of the map hidden kind of push. I can't even see it, to be honest, right now. But is bombing Ed, but there are so many Seekers here. Will Punk be able to survive long enough? He does kill Eddnamed, levels up, and gets away. So I can actually see right now, if you can see this on the minimap, there are 3 dots down here and the simple map actually got kind of bigger. I think that's a new thing. The minimap is much more visible and simple. It's so detailed, to be honest. And there are a lot of Longhorns sitting down here. I believe there's 5, at least 4. And Eddnamed is starting to lose a little bit of units over here. There are still no artillery up for Punktronica, except for this one not shooting into the other units. This is kind of pointed diagonally. Now, Eddnamed did see these Longhorns, is able to clean them up pretty well, especially with this Dillo push that just came out. This hat is shooting at him, and Eddnamed does get taken out. But between that hat and Punk's bombs, there's only 4 Armadillo over here coming to Punk's base, and that will get cleaned up very, very quickly by Punktronica. This outpost, this power station on this side is still just no units surrounding it yet. No one's made a push. No one's been bringing units over. No one's trying to control it. Punktronica has a jammer out on the field now, but it's still not working. Well, Ed did do a flyby there. So these Berthas are not able to shoot at these units right here just because of that jammer. And Ed does go down again to Punktronica. And a lot of hats about to go down on the field for Punk. He has 3 in queue. Now 1 is down. He has 2 jammers down as well, so there is nothing... Oh, and he is putting defensive hats down on each side of the map just to prevent any flybys, or at least to deter them. So by the time Ed flies by there, he will not have much HP left, and Punktronica will be able to eventually chase him down and easily shoot him down. Putting a lot of ratchets on the field. This is quite a massive units here, and now queuing up Longhorns, spamming the Longhorn button there. Ed again bringing down some infantry over to that forward, bringing more Berthas here, but they are not shooting at these units just because because Punktronica has 2 jammers out on the field right next to all these units. This outpost once again goes neutral, but Punktronica bringing a Longhorn to Ed's fort. Ed does not see it yet. He does now. It is on his front door once again. Punktronica will die there, but he does get that short distract and a little bit more life down off of Ed's fort. And now Punktronica finally queuing up more artillery. He has 2 in queue right now. And Ed trying to do a flyby, but there's a lot of hats in that area. It's just so hard to deal with, especially with Bomber. Oh, a lot. Look at all those missiles that came back to follow Punktronica and did kill him over his outpost. So many Berthas out. Look at that. There's just 6 Berthas out on the field for Ed. They're all clumped in the same spot. They're all pointing the same direction. Ed really needs to take out these jammers. Once he takes out these jammers... Well, actually, he is sitting here for line of sight, so these Berthas are raining down on these units. Look at all the dead blue units there. And Punktronica putting down Archies pointing toward... Yeah, they are kind of pointed toward this area. I don't know if they're really attacking these Armadillo. They might just be attacking creeps. They aren't attacking right now, so I'm pretty sure they were just shooting at the creeps over there at that point just now. And now Ed pointing his Berthas toward these Archies. They are getting fired on. And a lot of units go down right there for Punktronica. Bringing his Archies up, healing them. But these Berthas are doing a number on all of Punk's units. All he has to do is do some flybys and he's golden. But Punktronica still has a lot of units here at mid. And Eddnamed does not have the power, literal power here, to support more units to do a good push. He doesn't have any generators in his queue, or in his loadout, which is very typical for a 1v1. Punktronica dropping 2 Seekers and microing them around so Ed does get taken out. And there are a lot of Seekers here as well. Punktronica will be able to get back to his outpost. Still a lot of missiles following him. If he stopped at that mid, there was a very good chance that he would have been killed by all those following missiles. But there are 3 Ratchets down here doing nothing. Okay, Punk finally brings them up. They are going to be healing and salvaging at this point. And Ed still has that great line of Berthas, supported by Patchers, and bringing infantry creeps, actually, level 4 creeps once again to this forward. But now Punktronica has 2 Seekers there. Ed on the left side of this outpost is pretty much a no-stand zone for Ed. And Punktronica bringing over the Seekers, doing a great job there, surrounding Ed and getting that kill. Ed, very, very confused and shocked or surprised or whatnot by that. And now has so many Seekers out here. Look at that. There are 5 Seekers in this area. 4 clumped up right here. The level 4 creeps really killing a lot, but not enough. I mean, it's so easy to bomb them with Bomber. But Ed bringing Armadillo over here to try to get these anti-air units out. Punktronica dropping to kill them. He does kill them, but I don't think it took out any. There is a dead unit over there for blue, but I don't really think it was directly due to the Armadillo there. But there are actually quite a lot over here. Punktronica dropping to slash him down. There are 4 neutral creeps coming, or not neutral creeps, wow. 4 green creeps for Ed coming in, finally taking this outpost, but it's surrounded, and Ed does go down again to those Seekers. Punktronica has 4 runners here and is going to retake this outpost eventually. Now slashing away at these Berthas. Ed still has a huge respawn time. And finally comes back, but does lose 2 of those Berthas. Fortunately, they can be salvaged by those Patchers. Eddnamed trying to do a Seeker drop, but then he can't really drop fast enough at this point because Punktronica is a very good distance away from them. But he does finally get taken out when Punktronica goes face first into those Berthas. And now this outpost is actually pretty clear for Ed to start dropping in defense. But instead drops in offense, drops an Armadillo right there next to all of Punk's units. Punk does take it out with his own melee. Eddnamed doing a quick flyby. He should try to move his Berthas up a little bit just so he can take out these units sitting here at mid. And all this melee is going down on his power station. It does go neutral again. All Ed can do is drop these 2 Armadillo here, which get taken out very quickly by Punktronica's Longhorn and his own melee. So Ed is starting to leapfrog his Berthas up a little bit. They are well, at least these front 3 are close enough to attack. No, they should all be close enough to attack all these units over here. But Punktronica does not have any jammers on the field again. He has 1. So Ed does need to do some flybys to be able to get those units that are further back. Now Ed repositioning his Berthas, trying to get these units over here on this side of the on this southern area from the middle outpost. But Ed doing a push right now, sending some Armadillo, sending them to capture, putting them over here by this forward power station. So, but Punktronica has a big force over here. There's a lot of units over here actually. he can do a straight base push if Ed pushes units away from this close. I don't know if Punktronica gets the timing, he should be able to do a very massive push on Ed's main fort and, I don't know, either kill him or almost kill him. So many units down here. Punktronica is bringing two Longhorn, but Ed does see him. Ed decides to drop. Punk does get killed from all those secret fire, and that was a failed drop right there. Both of those Longhorn were dead, and Punktronica got killed also. And now Ed again has full queue of Dillos, but if you look at the mini-map, look, there are no more Dillos around here for the close. They all got cleaned up by Punktronica. Now Punktronica coming back, has 3 level 4 creeps. And Ed trying to reposition his Bertha, but it's just, there is that jammer over there, so he does need to do some flybys if he wants to get those units that are further back. Punktronica doing bombing runs. There are so many missiles over there, he can't do it for very long. Ed doing some flybys, trying to, I mean, these Berthas are kind of attacking a little bit, but it's just not really doing the damage that's necessary. They're pretty much just attacking these units in the front and the creeps. Ed bringing 2 Dillos over here to fight against 2 Longhorn. With his support, does take one down. Will he be able to get that second one? Yes, he does, but and this outpost is completely neutral right now. One blue creep does get in there, but Punk still has a lot of units sitting down here. Is he going to eventually push them? I mean, eventually he should, but will he be able to mass enough there to actually do it? Ed keeps pivoting his Berthas to kill more things, and it's just so effective. Ed is sitting on 53,000 credits. He has not put down many units recently, in the last few minutes, actually. Punk is trying to chase him down, does not get him. Why is Ed not spending right now? He needs to start putting down units. Well, I mean, he is short on power. Okay, he wanted to wait for level... Well, not level 5. That doesn't make any sense. I saw grinders and thought level 5, but he did queue up a bunch of grinders. He has 5 grinders in queue, and Punktronica has free reign to attack these from the low ground because those Seekers are not able to attack him when he's sitting there. Slashing away there with the Dragon Mask on, and everything within his range does get killed. He does need to retreat even further just because there are so many missiles coming at him that if he sat at his outpost, right, if he sat at his middle outpost, he would have been killed just by all those following missiles. Punktronica trying to chase down Ed, does not get him. Ed goes all the way back to his fort to recharge. And this grinder is still doing pretty good damage. It does get killed there. And right now, Ed making more Berthas. This is just a very long, drawn-out game where it's kind of a stalemate where neither side can really advance. And it's just like... it's because it's one-on-one and the units are not really varied, they kind of only have a limited amount of options to go with in terms of how they can proceed and try to take the next outpost. Ed doesn't have any heavier tanks, even though he has plenty of cash. He can't make Longhorn, he has just Dillos to push with. And on Punk's side, he only has early game units. He doesn't have any late game units like Ed has a Bertha. Punktronica doesn't have any Goliaths, he doesn't have any Berthas, he doesn't have any grinders in his loadout. So it's much harder to push against these later game units, especially now Ed is starting to put more grinders on the field. And now that this outpost does go neutral, that is interesting, but Punk does put these jammers on the field because pretty much what's doing the majority of Ed's damage is Berthas, and now Ed's starting to stack creeps. Is he going to go back and try to stack even further? No, this is only a 2 creep wave stack. Ed dropping a grinder. Will he be able to get away? Punktronica doesn't try to shoot him down. He does decide to deal with that grinder. The grinder takes down, I think, 1 or 2 units there before Punktronica is able to kill it. Now there are 4 or 8 level 4 creeps sitting here. 1 does get killed by Punk's bombs. And right now it did neutralize this outpost. 4 creeps going in, but runners, defensive runners, going in for Punk to keep that outpost completely bulbless. And now runners going down. That will go to Punk. We are in overtime 2 now. And Punktronica has a slight advantage in outposts. Actually, he did take this forward, so he does have a fair advantage in outposts, actually. Ed only has 1 versus Punktronica has 4. So Ed's life will go down much faster. And Punk just queuing up runners because at this point, he's not really going to make an advance to try to kill Ed. The only real offensive moves he probably will make at this point is just fort drops. And that does not involve advancing to try to take the next outpost. Especially, look at all the units sitting over here for Eddnamed. There are a lot here. It's going to be almost impossible for Tronica to take it. Even if he pushes with pretty much every unit, I think, especially with the Berthas in defense, those are going to take any incoming units out very quickly in advance, even before it hits any of Ed's mainline defense. Ed takes out a lot of units here. He is trying to take mid. Punktronica coming back, but Ed is cleaning house here, but he does get taken down there. He does overextend just a little bit. He probably should have went back and healed. Hindsight, right? But at this point, Punktronica does decide to push. He doesn't want to wait for overtime to finish Ed. Where is he going with these units? I mean, he has to be going for the fort. That's literally the only place he can go. And they are coming up this ramp now, but Ed is trying to mass as many armadillo here as he can to prevent this. What is Punk doing at the time? He is dying to another huge follow of Seeker missiles. But, wow, these are actually splitting up. 2 Seekers and a Longhorn are going the full bottom route. Ed cleaning up the rest of these here, almost going down in the process. There are 2 Seekers and a Longhorn still coming out here, but Ed does kill that. 1 Sam actually gets spawned from that Seeker. And now Ed with his own push here. He has a lot more units. He has 151 right now in upkeep count. So he is going to do a massive Dillo push here. No, he doesn't push all of his units. He is not doing an all-in kind of push, which I probably, at this point, I would have done an all-in just because it's so late game right now, and we are in overtime. Punk has 4-1 outpost advantage, and all these armadillo are going down. Ed does manage to neutralize this forward here, this forward power station, but Punktronica, quick to respond, has a lot of infantry here to defend. Ed coming with infantry of his own, but this outpost was reclaimed by Punktronica. Now trying to slash away at it. Punktronica just has to land. No, he puts down defensive runners, kills 1 of them. There's only 1 green bulb up right now. Punktronica does decide to pursue Ed, but gives up, puts some runners down, will completely reclaim this. Is Ed going to go for another base push? Or is he going to go for the fort? He is trying to leapfrog his units again. Look at all these Berthas, though. He really should try to move them up even further. He is so behind right now that he needs to try to do something more major than a small positional push. And Punktronica not stopping with this just pressure, putting so many infantry down here that it completely neutralizes this outpost. Punktronica does go down there, a little bit overextended, but the damage has been done. Eddnamed does not have control of that power station anymore. He does neutralize this middle outpost, and 4 creeps are coming in. He is going to clean up this Longhorn here. There is still another Longhorn sitting over here for Eddnamed. But I think even if he takes this power station and keeps mid, I don't think he'll win, just because there's so much fort health on Ed already taken out that it's just gonna be, there's not gonna be enough of a difference. He'll have to take pretty much all the outposts, but he does take Punktronica down in that exchange. Punktronica a little bit overextending right there with the Armadillo, or trying to kill an Armadillo. Right now, Ed actually is at the advantage. He does have this forward outpost, this forward power station, and has 2 bulbs up in mid. He is starting to push all of his units forward. Punktronica still has not respawned. He has 5 Seekers in queue, but all the units for Ed right now are coming over here. But Ed has, I'm very certain that Ed did right now a Seeker, yeah, he did set him to Y attack, but it's mostly Seekers over here. Punktronica with the same thing doing a Seeker push. This is hilarious. This is craziness. There's only Seekers out on the field for the most part for all these, for both teams, for both guys, and Eddnamed goes down to all those Seekers. And I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Punktronica also went down to a bunch of Seekers, just because there's like 1,000 on the field right now. But he does drop to low ground to avoid the majority or all of that Seeker fire, and does kill him. And Eddnamed is almost gone right now. His life is so low. He has no choice right now but to start doing base drops, but instead is taking this outpost. If he takes the next outpost, he will stop losing life. Oh, but it's so close right now, and Punktronica is able to hold out long enough for overtime to finish off Eddnamed. And now Punktronica is finishing off the rest of those units. Game 2 goes to Punktronica. The series is tied at 1-1. Stay tuned for Game 3.